Good morning. So, let me start. My name is Steve Zalewski. I'm the Chief Security Architect at Levi Strauss. And when I was asked to come up here, they said, make this a TED Talk. In 20 minutes, what do you want to do? And I said, I can talk about technology, but I don't think that's appropriate. I said, let me take a different stance. Let me talk about what Levi Strauss is, right, which is we make jeans. And let me talk about the why of what we do. Not the how, not the what. You guys do that. But let me explain why we have to do what we're doing so that the conversation then translates into, so what, now what? Here's the thinking, right? Why is cybersecurity on the radar screen at Levi? Because after all, we just make jeans. And how hard can it be to make jeans? So let me talk about myself for a minute. One, yes, Levi's jeans. Just so if you're worried, 505s. I've got the Levi shoes. And I thought this was pretty cool. I got my Levi's phone. So, there's a reason why I kind of went through that, and you'll see. Now, my background. I've been at Levi's about 18 months. This is my first time in international retail. Most of my experience has been in large utilities and in healthcare. So I'm used to large organizations with heavy audit and compliance, which results in a lot of security, because audit and compliance is about demonstrating proof of security. When I came to retail, retail doesn't care about security. Retail cares about selling clothes, in my case, jeans. So you have some compliance. Little, socks, little PCI. But if you notice in retail, for the most part, security is more about theft prevention and not so much about cybersecurity, because it's a very manual process of making jeans. I don't have a lot of knowledge workers, right, in the traditional sense. As a brand, this is my job, right? It's a tough job some days, I got to tell you. And what I want to say here is, you have to understand what your company is, not as a security practitioner, but as a business practitioner. As a brand, here's what we are. We are women selling high fashion jeans to women. That's what we are. That's all of our marketing. It's a little different from my perspective because we sell this. And I want to share a couple of stories, because in 18 months I came in. 2 years ago there was basically no security organization in Levi's because there was a little bit of compliance and we basically sold jeans. And then they said, we're going to stand up an e-commerce site. So all of a sudden cybersecurity became interesting from their perspective, and so they said, we've got to get serious about security. And they hired a couple of us in with the edict to say, we don't have a lot, put a program together and get us where we need to be. And in retail, there's not a lot of money. And so the other aspect of that was, and here's how much we can do for you, do the best you can, and make us secure. And I'm like, okay. Right? I'm up for the challenge. And this is what I found is for this first 6 months, I'm thinking I'm going to go look at security. I'm going to go take the company apart. I'm going to see what we need to do. What kind of security controls do we need? And in 6 months, I walked away and I thought, I didn't think about security. What I really had to do was understand the business. And so let me give you a couple of examples. I hope I don't get in trouble here. When women buy jeans, you can see already I'm going to get in trouble. There are two types of women in the world. There are women that wear jeans with high heels, and there are women that wear jeans with flats, okay? High fashion, and then the boyfriend jeans. The moms, you know, I got to get stuff done. I'm wearing basically flats and jeans. I got to buy for kids. Women in high heels, they're looking good, okay? Women will have different jeans to wear with flats and high heels because in their mind, they're understanding how those jeans fit on them and what they want to project for an image. I'm like, oh, interesting. When women try on jeans, they try them on because they've got to see how they fit. Are they comfortable? If it is, then what they start thinking about is, where am I going to go with these jeans? What am I going to be seen with in these jeans? How can I use this? To the women in the audience, I have a profound respect that I never had as to how much time and energy you put into purchasing or just thinking through all the ramifications of a decision. And so I want to put that out there because for all the guys in the audience, we're clueless. And so I at least want to acknowledge and respect that. Now, let's be a guy. We buy jeans. I need 3 pairs of jeans. I'm 34, 32. Let me get in the store, pick up 3 pair, and get out of there. I don't know how much they cost. I don't care. I'm just done. And then I realize we get girlfriends or wives. And all of a sudden, we have to try on clothes. And I'm like, that sucks. I know, I'm at 34, 32, and I want to get done. And your wife or your girlfriend goes, oh, no, try them on, right? Want to see, everything else. And you realize, and that's what I was listening to these women, was what you've become now is a reflection of them, okay? They know that other women are looking at you and thinking, how could you let him leave the house like that? And I'm like, what does this have to do with making jeans? It's understanding my audience. And here's where you go. This company is women selling jeans to women. There's 30 styles of women jeans because it goes into understanding the buying process of women and what they do. You know why we put men's jeans on sale? Because in the US, women don't buy anything unless it's on sale. When we're selling to guys, we just buy it. So men's line is our most profitable. You guys need to stop having girlfriends and wives so that way we can make some more money. And then I say, transition again, which is what I have are creatives. This company are women and men that are creative. They market the jeans. They design all the types of jeans, the washes of the jeans, the cuts of the jeans. And this is why I have that, right? Which was, I don't know who came up with wedgie fit jeans. I'm like, really? But that's what it is, right? It's fashion. It's sold really well. What do I know? But that's the creative side. What I'm trying to do is put a bubble of protection around that creativity, not for security. So, the key point for me here is protect the brand, not secure the brand. Okay. Amnon made a very important point about architecture-led. He talked about architecture. Most of you guys in here are technical, and so you know what technical architects are. And I wanted to talk about that for a minute because I think it has a lot to do with understanding the expectation of architecting your business in security as opposed to architecting the technology to do security. And I look at it this way. Levi's is architecture-led, okay? There's a significant portion of our bonus structure that is based on the fact that you have to demonstrate that this is architecture-led, that there is an architecture associated with this at the business and technical level in security in order to be able to know that we're aligned to meet the top 3 goals, which was grow it, simplify it, and modernize it. Now, translate that to security. And this is where I say architecture-led. Bake security in versus bolt it on. That's a decision. It can become a de facto decision, but it's a decision. Secure the data versus secure the resources. Secure the business versus protect the business. Remember what I said, if you've got a lot of audit and compliance, you're going to secure the business. Generally, there's a lot of intrinsic value in the data. People are willing to do multi-factor authentication. People understand you have to do encryption, right? Because it's my financial data, it's my healthcare data. Okay, I'm protecting the grid. Selling jeans, right? I'm gonna have some designer who's more interested, is up to their elbows in blue dye as they're making jeans and tell them you have to do multi-factor authentication to log in to read your email. See what I mean? To protect is the best I can do. I can't secure. It's not in the DNA of the organization that this one is. And then common perception of an architect, right? And that's what people tell me. You draw pretty pictures and you tell a compelling story. Hopefully, as I'm talking through, you hear the pictures and the compelling story. And what people say is, yeah, so you're a con man or you're a architecture guy, right? Because you don't do anything. And this is the difference, which was, this is what a chief security architect or a chief architect really is, which is what we're embodying here, which was, you're paid to think, but I'm also paid to think evil. I don't have to think the good, I also have to think the bad. Because what I'm trying to figure out is, where's the right balance of capability to protect the brand? Business risk versus security controls. Are more controls better for me? Think about the environment I'm in. And then think in terms of insurance policies rather than controls, right? If I have to protect the brand, then what I have to understand is not everything is equal. What do I have to protect? How can I do it? And bound that problem. So let me move through. We're about 2/3 of the way through. Hopefully everybody's still bearing with me. I'm going to transition now into more of the technical part of why we have to do it. What are we? We make jeans, we distribute jeans, and we sell jeans. That's what we are at the end of the day, okay? But here's the key. We do it in 110 countries. We do it to the tune of $5 billion. We do it through wholesale. We do it through retail. We do it through e-commerce, okay? So we have varied ways of being able to do that. And of course, with that complexity comes challenges. Let me show you, when you do business in 110 countries like we do, as an enterprise, we try to have enterprise solutions, right? Your back office, you want to have common tools. Well, for Levi's, because we have retail stores, owned and operated, and we also have franchisees, and we have wholesale, in certain countries, okay, I don't get to decide what security I want, okay? Let me give you 3 examples. There's a country where our point of sale systems are in there. And we ran a scan, and there was malware on a point of sale system. And we got really worried about that because that's not a good thing. We go investigate. Well, the country that we're in, their point of sale system is hooked up directly to the internet, and the kids are browsing the internet, reading email when they're not ringing up sales. How did that happen? Well, that's because it's a different country. And they brought that stuff in, and it's a franchisee, and I don't have that much respect. They don't have that much requirement to listen to what I say, so how do I put a bubble around it, okay? Here's another one. In China, you know, in China it's almost all electronic, and when you go in and you pay, it's electronic pay. If you want to be able to deduct that because it's necessary for work, the way that works is you check out, and then there's a parallel system that the government has, that you tell the government that that purchase is deductible. So that way they have verification. It's the landowner that's responsible for putting that system in place to the government and report. So it's not the store owner, it's the landowner. And here's what they say. Hey, if you don't have a system, no problem. Here's the laptop, plug it in, stick it into your internet, and now you can do your thing. I was like, really? I got a foreign piece of equipment coming into my internet that I'm now mandated to do. And the third one that I've noticed is in certain countries, it's considered sport to be able to not pay taxes to the government. So government comes in and says, hey, Steve, you will use this equipment so that way we can verify what's going through that store so we get our taxes. That's some representation of the types of things that you see as you have a global retailer. So my key point for here is don't confuse protecting versus securing. You know what you got to do. And then the mission statement for me is understand first and foremost that cybersecurity, the bad guys follow a standard process. What we have is an opportunity now, which was understand which of those actors are most important for me to protect. When I was in utilities, I had nation state challenges. Let me tell you, that's 0 day, that's game on, okay? Highly sophisticated, a lot of money, take their time. In retail, I hide in the herd, right? It's like I'm retail. And so what I'm realizing is script kiddies and insiders and cyber criminals are primarily my threat vectors. And so therefore, tune your protection around that and don't worry about the rest, okay? It's a strategy, it's a tactic, it's what we do. And then I say, look at the mission statement on the bottom. Everything you hear me saying is think about the business and do what's necessary for the business to show the value. The mission statement on the left is a technical IT mission statement. It's what CISOs do when they go up to the CIO and all the way up. It's all about controls and secure. The mission statement on the right, look at that one. That one says, at the end of the day, prevent the revenue stream from being impacted, detect when the revenue stream is impacted, and put the revenue stream back together as fast as you can. So that I'm not talking about security. What I'm talking about is the risk via the business impact analysis, business continuity plan, and understanding how I'm going to address that risk, cyber risk, as more of an insurance possibility to directly invest in preventing the situation of losing the revenue stream. Different way of thinking, same tools, but it's a better way, in my mind, to look at prevent, detect, response for any line of business as to what we're trying to do. So, in 19 minutes, I kind of took you through large international company, what retail looks like, what I've observed, understand the business, understand your client, so to speak, and now the result of this is 2 years ago, we got out of the data center business. Levi said, we don't need data centers. We're in the cloud. We have a legacy data center, outsourced it, and we basically have taken stealth IT and not just handled it, but we've told the business that is the way you go. Get out there, leverage every kind of cloud service you can, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, because it's going to be more agile for the business to fail faster. The problem for me is the business can fail, but our protection cannot fail, right? We can't. So now what I'm trying to figure out is I basically have a distributed, orchestrated, international data center. That's what I have. I've got Google, Amazon, Office 365, Concur, Workday. And I can't tell the business, no, don't do that. It's too complicated. What I have to do is support the business and get to yes. And so what I leave you with is, now I've got all these clouds. So what I'm really doing is I'm back into assets. I'm going to a zero trust model. I got to find where my assets are now as they're moving out to everywhere. And I have to build some form of perimeter again in order to be able to support the mission of protect the brand. From a checkpoint perspective, when he talked about architecture and the ability to include the stack, I would say that's it, software-defined networks, okay? If you look at security zoning, because I don't have a data center. I don't have a perimeter. I have public IP addresses, of which some are my servers, some are my endpoints, some are my mobile, and I have to reestablish an architecture that's cloud-centric, but not pure cloud, with a whole set of technology that is now being innovated in all these clouds and I got to figure out how do I centrally administer and orchestrate all that. There's a lot of innovation going there, and now what I'm finding is small to medium businesses are innovating, the providers, and yet I'm a $5 billion business and I'm trying to make that work. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the conversation around it's just jeans, how hard is it? And that you found some takeaways in how you think. Thank you very much.